My name is Martha Andrews, and I'm 42 years old. What I'm about to share with you is my near-death experience testimony of what happened when Jesus showed me 7 clear signs angels have been visiting us. 3 years ago, I died during a routine medical procedure, and what happened next was so real, so profound, that I knew I had to share it with anyone who would listen. I had gone in for what was supposed to be a simple surgery to remove my gallbladder. I remember joking with the nurses that morning, telling them I'd see them in a few hours. I had no idea that within minutes of being put under anesthesia, my heart would stop beating. The doctors told me later that I had an unexpected allergic reaction to the anesthesia, and my body just shut down. They worked on me for almost 7 minutes before they got my heart beating again. But during those 7 minutes, I wasn't in that operating room. I was somewhere else entirely, and I met someone who would tell me things about angels, about signs, about how much more connected we are to the spiritual realm than most of us ever realize. When my heart stopped, I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel anything at all at first. And then suddenly, I was standing in this place that I can only describe as being made of pure light. It wasn't bright in a way that hurt my eyes. It was warm and welcoming, like coming home after being away for a very long time. And standing there, right in front of me, was Jesus. I know some people might not believe me. I know some people will think I was just hallucinating or that my brain was playing tricks on me because of the lack of oxygen. But I'm telling you, this was more real than anything I've ever experienced in my entire life. He looked at me with eyes that were so full of love that I immediately started crying. I had been a Christian my whole life, but in that moment, I realized I had never truly understood what love meant until I was standing in his presence. He smiled at me and said, "Martha, you're going to go back. But first, there are things I need you to understand, things I need you to share with others who are struggling to see the signs we're sending them." I didn't want to go back. Standing there with him, I felt complete in a way I had never felt before. But he took my hand, and suddenly we were walking together in this space that seemed to exist outside of time. He began to tell me about angels, about how they work in our lives every single day, and about the signs they leave behind that most people either miss or dismiss as coincidence. "Martha," he said, "so many of my children are walking through their lives feeling alone, feeling abandoned, feeling like no one is watching over them. But that's never true. I have assigned angels to every single person, and these angels are constantly working to guide them, to protect them, to remind them that they are loved. The problem is that people have forgotten how to see the signs." He told me he wanted to teach me about 7 specific signs that angels leave behind, 7 ways that people can recognize when angels have been visiting them or watching over them. And as he spoke, I understood that this wasn't just information for me. This was a message he wanted me to bring back and share with others. The first sign he told me about was something that I had actually experienced many times in my own life, but had never understood the significance of. He said, "When you return, tell people about the dreams and the intuitive feelings. This is the primary way angels communicate with my children." He explained to me that when we sleep, our conscious mind, the part of us that's always questioning and doubting and analyzing, finally quiets down. And in that quiet space, we become open to receiving messages from the spiritual realm. He said that angels prefer to communicate through dreams because our souls are more receptive during sleep. "Think about it, Martha," he said. "How many times have you gone to bed troubled by a problem, and you woke up with a solution? How many times have you had a dream that felt different from your normal dreams, more vivid, more meaningful? Those aren't accidents. Those are your angels working with you, guiding you, helping you see things from a perspective you couldn't access while awake." He told me that these dreams often contain symbols that are personal to each individual. An angel might show you something in a dream that has specific meaning to you, something that might not mean anything to anyone else, but to you it carries a message. He said that sometimes the messages are direct. Sometimes people dream of deceased loved ones who bring them comfort or warnings. Sometimes they dream of angels themselves, appearing in forms that feel safe and familiar. "But it's not just in dreams," he continued. "Your angels also speak to you through intuition, through those gut feelings you get that tell you to do something or to avoid something. How many times have you ignored your intuition and regretted it later? That's your angels trying to guide you, trying to protect you." He referenced Matthew 18 verse 10, saying, see that you do not despise one of these little ones. For I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven." He explained that this verse shows how intimately angels are connected to each person, how they're always in communication with God about us, always interceding on our behalf. Jesus told me that when people start having vivid dreams or strong intuitive feelings, especially during difficult times in their lives, it's usually because their angels are working overtime to get through to them. He said that angels will intensify their efforts when they see someone heading toward danger or when someone is going through a period of deep suffering and needs extra reassurance. "Tell them to pay attention to their dreams," he said. "Tell them to write them down as soon as they wake up, before the memory fades. Tell them to trust their intuition, even when it doesn't make logical sense. Their angels are guiding them, and they need to learn to recognize that guidance." The second sign he taught me about was something that completely changed how I understood certain experiences I'd had throughout my life. He told me about the sense of presence, about feeling like someone is with you even when you're alone, or feeling a comforting touch when no one is there. "Martha, your angels are with you always," he said. "But sometimes, when you need extra comfort or reassurance, they will make their presence known in a more tangible way. They might let you feel them sitting beside you. They might touch your shoulder or your hand. They might create a sensation of being embraced." He explained that angels exist in the spiritual realm, which means they don't have physical bodies the way we do. But they have the ability to interact with the physical world in subtle ways. When we feel that inexplicable presence or that gentle touch, it's because an angel is deliberately making themselves known to us in a way our physical senses can detect. This often happens during moments of great sadness or fear, he told me. When someone is grieving, when someone is facing a difficult decision, when someone is feeling desperately alone, their angels will step in and make their presence felt. It's their way of saying, "You are not alone. We are here. You are loved and protected." He reminded me of Psalm 91 verse 11, which says, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." Jesus explained that this isn't just a nice sentiment or a metaphorical promise. It's a literal truth. Angels are assigned to guard us, and sometimes that guarding includes comforting us in ways we can physically sense. Jesus shared with me that many people experience this, but then talk themselves out of it. They'll feel that presence or that touch, and then their logical mind kicks in and tells them they're imagining things. He said this breaks his heart because it's such a direct attempt by the angels to offer comfort, and when people dismiss it, they miss out on the peace and reassurance that was being offered to them. "Tell them not to dismiss these experiences," he urged me. "Tell them that when they feel that presence, they should acknowledge it. They should say thank you. They should understand that their angels are right there with them, and they should draw strength and comfort from that reality." The third sign he revealed to me was about coins appearing in unexpected places. I have to admit, when he first mentioned this one, I was a bit confused. Coins seemed so ordinary, so mundane. But he explained to me why they're actually perfect messengers. Angels work with what's available in your physical world, he said. They use ordinary objects to send extraordinary messages. Coins are small, they're common, and they're something people notice. When your angels want to remind you of their presence, when they want to encourage you to keep your faith, they'll place coins where you'll find them. He told me that the reason this works so well is because coins appear in places where they logically shouldn't be. You might find a coin on your windowsill when you know no one has been in that room. You might find one on a path you walk every single day, in a spot you've walked past 100 times before. You might open a book and find a coin pressed between the pages, even though you're certain it wasn't there before. The unexpectedness is the message, Jesus explained. When something appears that can't be easily explained by natural circumstances, that's when people start to wonder. And that wondering opens the door for them to recognize the spiritual reality around them. He said that the significance becomes even stronger when the coins have dates or numbers that mean something personal. Maybe it's the year someone was born, or the year a loved one passed away, or an anniversary date. Angels know these details about our lives, and they use them to make the message more personal, more direct. Jesus referenced Luke 15 verse 10, saying, "I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents." He explained that angels are intimately involved in our spiritual journeys, celebrating our victories and supporting us through our struggles. Finding these coins is like receiving a little celebration, a reminder that the spiritual realm is cheering us on. These coins are tokens of encouragement, he told me. They're reminders to keep the faith, to trust the path you're on, to know that you're being provided for and watched over. When people find these coins, they should take a moment to thank their angels and to remember that they're not walking through life alone. The fourth sign Jesus taught me about was changes in temperature, particularly feeling sudden warmth. This one resonated with me deeply because I remembered times in my life when I'd experienced exactly what he was describing. When you feel a sudden warmth surrounding you, when there's no logical source for that warmth, that's often an angel drawing near to you, he said. Angels are beings of light and love, and when they move close to you, you can sometimes feel that energy as warmth. He explained that this is especially common when someone is going through a particularly difficult time. When someone is grieving, when they're scared, when they're doubting themselves or feeling lost, their angels will draw close, and that proximity creates this sensation of warmth. It's like being wrapped in a blanket of love. Sometimes it's a general warmth that surrounds you, Jesus said. Other times it might be more localized, like warmth on your back or your shoulders, as if someone is standing behind you with their hands resting on you. Some people feel it as warmth spreading through their chest, right over their heart. He told me that this is one of the ways angels offer comfort without interfering with free will. They can't make our decisions for us, and they can't force us to feel better, but they can offer their presence and their love in a tangible way. The warmth is their embrace, their way of holding us when we need to be held. Jesus referenced Isaiah 41 verse 10, which says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." He said that often, angels act as the physical manifestation of this promise. When we feel that warmth, we're feeling God's love and support being channeled through his angels. Tell people to pay attention to these moments, he said. When they feel that inexplicable warmth, they should pause and recognize it for what it is. It's not their imagination. It's not a coincidence. It's their angels saying, "We're here and we love you and you're going to be okay." The fifth sign he revealed was about seeing flashes of light or orbs. This one fascinated me because I had seen photos where people had captured strange orbs of light, and I'd always wondered what they were. Light is the language of the spiritual realm, Jesus told me. Angels are beings of light. When they manifest in your physical world, they often appear as flashes or orbs because that's the easiest way for them to make themselves visible without overwhelming you. He explained that sometimes people see these flashes with their physical eyes, just brief sparks of light in their peripheral vision or sudden bright flashes in a room. Other times, they appear in photographs, showing up as orbs or streaks of light that weren't visible when the photo was taken. These aren't camera defects, he assured me. Well, sometimes they are, I'll be honest about that. But often, they're real manifestations of angelic presence. Angels will position themselves so that the camera catches their energy, their light. It's their way of leaving proof, leaving evidence that they were there. He said that these visual manifestations often happen during significant moments. They might appear in photos from weddings, from births, from important family gatherings. They might appear when someone is praying or during worship. They might show up when someone is going through a difficult time and needs a sign that they're not alone. Jesus referenced John 8 verse 12, where he says, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." He explained that angels, as his messengers, also carry that light. When we see these flashes and orbs, we're catching glimpses of that divine light breaking through into our physical reality. Some people see these lights regularly, he told me. For them, it becomes a normal part of their experience, a constant reminder of the spiritual presence around them. Others might see them rarely, usually during times when they most need reassurance. Both are valid experiences. Angels adapt their approach to what each person needs. He also told me that sometimes these lights appear in colors, and different colors can carry different messages. White or golden lights often signify protection and divine presence. Blue lights might indicate healing energy. Green can represent growth and renewal. But he emphasized that the most important thing isn't the color, it's the recognition that angels are making themselves known. The sixth sign Jesus taught me about was hearing ringing in the ears. I'd experienced this myself many times and had always just assumed it was a physical thing, maybe related to blood pressure or something. But he explained there was often more to it than that. Of course, sometimes ear ringing is just a physical phenomenon, he said with a gentle smile. Your bodies are complex, and sometimes things just happen. But other times, especially when the ringing is sudden, high-pitched, and comes at significant moments, it's your angels trying to get your attention. He explained that angels exist at a different frequency than we do. They vibrate at a much higher level, and when they move close to us or try to communicate with us, sometimes we perceive that high vibration as a ringing sound in our ears. Think of it like a doorbell, he said. When your angels ring, it's because they want you to pay attention. They want you to tune in to what's happening in that moment. Maybe they're trying to confirm something you just thought or said. Maybe they're trying to warn you about something. Maybe they're just reminding you they're there. He told me that this often happens when someone is at a crossroads in their life, facing an important decision. The ringing is meant to make them pause and listen more carefully to their intuition. It's a signal that the spiritual realm is particularly active around them in that moment. Jesus referenced Revelation 2 verse 7, which says, "He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches." He explained that this isn't just about listening to spiritual teaching, it's about being attuned to spiritual communication in all its forms. The ear ringing is a call to listen, to be receptive, to pay attention to what the Spirit and the angels are trying to convey. Tell people that when this happens, they should stop what they're doing for a moment, he instructed me. They should take a breath and ask their angels what message they're trying to send. They should pay attention to what they were just thinking about or what they were just doing. Often, the ringing is a confirmation or a gentle warning related to that specific moment. The seventh and final sign he taught me about was finding feathers, particularly white feathers, in unusual places. This one has become so meaningful to me since I came back because I see these feathers all the time now, and each one reminds me of what Jesus told me. Feathers are one of the most common signs angels leave behind, he said. They're soft, they're gentle, they're beautiful, and they seem to appear out of nowhere. When you find a feather, especially a white one, in a place where it doesn't make sense for there to be a feather, that's your angels leaving you a calling card. He explained that angels don't have wings in the way we typically picture them, but the image of angels with wings has become so deeply embedded in human consciousness that they use it as a symbol. By leaving feathers, they're connecting to that imagery, making it easier for people to recognize the sign as angelic in nature. You might find a feather on your car seat when you know the windows have been closed, he said. You might find one on your pillow in the morning. You might find one on your desk at work, or on a park bench where you sit down. The location doesn't matter as much as the unexpectedness of it. He told me that white feathers in particular are significant because white represents purity, peace, and divine love. When someone finds a white feather, it's a message of comfort and reassurance. It's the angels saying, "You're protected. You're loved. We're watching over you." Jesus referenced Psalm 91 verse 4, which says, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge." He said this psalm has always been about more than just metaphorical protection. It's about the real, tangible presence of angels in our lives, offering shelter and safety. The feather is a physical token of that protection, he explained. It's something people can hold, something they can keep, something that serves as a lasting reminder that they're not alone. Many people start collections of these feathers, keeping them in special places where they can see them and remember. He also told me that the timing of when these feathers appear is significant. They often show up right when someone needs encouragement, right when they're doubting or struggling or feeling abandoned. The sudden appearance of a feather in those moments is a direct response from the angels, a tangible answer to an unspoken prayer. As Jesus finished teaching me about all 7 signs, he took both of my hands in his and looked at me with such intensity that I felt like he could see straight through to my soul. "Martha, I'm sending you back now," he said. "And I'm sending you back with a mission. There are so many people who are walking through their lives feeling abandoned by me, feeling like I've forgotten them or don't care about them. But that's never true. I'm always there, and my angels are always working on my behalf to guide and protect my children." He told me that people miss these signs because they've been taught to dismiss anything that can't be immediately explained by logic and science. They've been taught that spiritual experiences aren't real, that they're just wishful thinking or imagination. But he wanted me to tell people that these signs are real, that angels are real, and that the spiritual realm is far more active in our daily lives than most people realize. When you go back, share what I've taught you, he said. Tell people to start paying attention. Tell them to look for these signs. Tell them to acknowledge their angels and thank them. Tell them that when they recognize and appreciate these signs, it strengthens the connection between the physical and spiritual realms. It makes it easier for their angels to help them. He also gave me a warning though. He said, be careful not to let people become obsessed with signs. The signs are meant to point people toward me, toward faith, toward love. They're not meant to become the focus themselves. Some people will get so caught up in looking for signs that they forget to live their lives, to love others, to do the work I've called them to do. The signs are confirmations and encouragements, not the destination. I asked him why he was telling me all this, why he had chosen me to bring this message back. I didn't feel special or qualified. I was just an ordinary woman who had gone in for a routine surgery. He smiled at me and said, that's exactly why. You're ordinary, Martha. You're relatable. People will listen to you because you're one of them. You're not a theologian or a mystic or someone who spent their whole life pursuing spiritual experiences. You're a regular person who had an extraordinary experience, and that makes your testimony powerful. Then, before I could ask him anything else, I felt myself being pulled away. It was like being yanked backwards at incredible speed. I tried to hold onto his hands, but they slipped through my fingers. The last thing I heard him say was, remember, Martha. Share what I've taught you. My children need to know they're not alone. And then I was back in my body, gasping for air, with doctors and nurses surrounding me and machines beeping frantically. I heard someone say, we've got her back. And I wanted to scream that I didn't want to be back, that I wanted to be with Jesus, that I didn't want to leave that place of perfect peace and love. But as the days passed and I recovered from the surgery, I began to understand why he had sent me back. I started noticing all 7 of the signs he had taught me about. I found feathers constantly. I had dreams that were so vivid and meaningful that I couldn't dismiss them. I felt presences around me, felt that comforting warmth, saw flashes of light. I found coins in the strangest places. And I understood that my angels had always been there, had always been leaving these signs, but I had just never known to look for them. Now I share this testimony with anyone who will listen because I know there are people out there who feel alone, who feel abandoned, who are questioning whether God is real or whether he cares about them. And I want them to know that he does care. He cares so much that he has assigned angels to watch over every single one of us, and those angels are constantly working to remind us of his love and presence. If you've experienced any of these 7 signs, I want you to know that it wasn't your imagination. Your angels are real, and they've been trying to get your attention. Start acknowledging them. Start thanking them. Start paying attention to the ways they're guiding and protecting you. And if you haven't noticed these signs before, I encourage you to start looking for them. Open your heart and your mind to the possibility that there's more happening around you than what you can see with your physical eyes. Your angels are there, working on your behalf, leaving signs of their presence. You just have to learn to recognize them.